It's something that affects many autistic people and their loved ones, but it remains a mystery to many. Autistic elopement. On this video, I'll shed some light on what autistic elopement is and why it's so crucial to understand and address it. Let's go. Welcome, my stars of Orion. Thank you so much for watching. I'm orionkelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. Autistic elopement. It happens in an instant. A door left ajar, a moment of distraction, and bang, your autistic child gone. For families with autistic kids, this scenario is a terrifying reality. When most people hear the word elope, I'm pretty sure you automatically think of getting married in Vegas. No, in this context, we're talking about in the context of autism, elopement is something entirely different. And it's not just relevant to autistic kids. Yes, autistic adults still elope. What is autistic elopement, Orion? All the questions. You're so needy. I mean, let me tell you, what is autistic elopement? In the context of autism, elopement could also be classed as wandering. And again, wandering, you think someone slowly meandering around. Again, in the autistic context, wandering could be anything from running, bolting, sprinting, disappearing, not in a magical sense, but that will be cool. Okay, so what it's crucially defined as is whatever way you want to put it, elopement, wandering, whatever. It's defined as leaving your safe area. Now, for children, that could be leaving their parents, caregivers, support workers, family, friends without permission. And trust me, if you have a partner who's autistic, you might not have thought about it like this, but they elope. Now, without permission isn't right, but have you ever had your autistic partner just up and leave or just go somewhere without even thinking of letting you know they're going to do it? And then you're like, where were you? Or hello, where have you gone? Oh, I just went here, just went there. So that could be how it manifests for adults. So either way, it's without permission for kids or without even thinking that you should tell others you're about to just get up and go for autistic adults. Now, this particular type of behavior will often place the autistic child, more specifically than the adult, at risk. In saying that, though, autistic adults who experience elopement still can put themselves at risks, and we'll get into why, the reasons and the causes very soon. It is very common, by the way, this type of behavior, but the science will tell us that those with developmental conditions and disabilities are particularly prone to this type of behavior. So, for example, a child might run towards a busy street or maybe into a body of water, just run straight in, unaware there are risks involved in running towards traffic or running into a body of water. How about a real life example? Okay, so imagine a child who loves the playground down the street just decides, well, that's where I'm going to go. They slip out of the house while their parents or caregivers are busy. They head straight to their favourite place, unaware of the potential dangers along the way. Because usually it would be something they do with a parent, caregiver, support worker, family or friend, right? Deciding, oh, I'm going to go to the park. Don't need to tell anyone. Door's open. Off I go. It's my favourite place. By yourself is a very different scenario. Or think about it like this. A child who feels overwhelmed during, say, a school fire drill. You know how they always make kids at school do the fire drills? Yeah, okay. So there's loud noises. There's flashing lights. What's going to happen? Some autistic kids are going to be triggered. They're going to be sensory overloaded. Okay, the noises, the flashing, the kids, the teachers, sometimes they have those big speakers. That's going to cause autistic kids to be overwhelmed, to be overloaded. And what's going to happen? It's entirely possible they are going to elope. They're going to run away. They're going to try and find a quiet place. Why is that? Because to them, that's safe. To the rest of the world, they might go, this isn't safe. You've left the group. We didn't know where you were. And a lot of times, parents or friends or family will go, you could have been killed. You could have died. You didn't tell us. You just went. You just gone here. I could have. Okay, so I've walked from where you are to a group of bushes and I'm hiding in them because I feel like it's a natural cubby house. It's quiet and safe. What was the tree was going to kill me? So there's a lot of logic problems involved in this particular topic. But the reasons behind autistic elopement are completely diverse and individual to each autistic person. Let's get to the stats. Let's get to the science, the nitty-gritty, the facts you can't ignore. Research shows nearly 50% of autistic people will attempt to elope at least once after the age of 4. Now, this is 4 times higher than their neurotypical peers or siblings. Over 25% of autistic kids elope regularly, increasing the need for constant vigilance. Can you imagine having an autistic child? 25% of autistic kids elope regularly. They're not just like once in their lifetime. It's a big number. This is crazy. 65% are at risk of traffic-related injuries or death. Did you hear that? Autistic people who elope have a 65% chance of being injured or killed in traffic-related accidents. How about this? 24% of autistic people who elope face the danger of drowning. 35% of elopement cases involve police or emergency services. More than 50% of families report stress levels high enough to impact their mental health. Okay, so I'm here to validate and support autistic people, but also their loved ones, parents, carers, partners, friends, family of autistic people. 50% of you report stress levels brought on by autistic elopement high enough to impact your mental health. Now, drowning is a massive issue for autistic people. It's a massive issue for autistic kids. And why is that? Well, for the most part, autistic elopement. The idea, have you ever gone to the beach or the pool and an autistic person just decides to sprint, to bolt, to run straight towards the water? They assume once they enter it, they'll somehow float or everything will come together. They don't understand the dangers or the reality of this. Drowning, that's right, drowning is the leading cause of death in autistic kids. And it's often linked to wandering elopement behavior. That's why autistic elopement is so important to understand. A 2021 report from the National Autism Association revealed that accidental deaths account for 91% of total mortality in autistic kids aged 14 and younger. Of those, 74% are due to drowning. 18 traffic-related fatalities. Astounding. Incredible statistics about the sheer power, the sheer devastation, something you probably were thinking of, who cares, Orion? What a topic. Autistic elopement causes. So what are the actual key causes? Because we need to understand what it is and we need to understand how to mitigate it. Why does autistic elopement happen? Okay, the causes behind it. For starters, it's not random. Write this down if you need to. Autistic elopement is almost always goal-orientated. Hang on, Orion. I thought our autistic kids were just being brats or just being annoying or hard to deal with. No. For the most part, autistic elopement is goal-driven. How big is that? Some of the most common reasons autistic people wander, run away, elope. Let's start off with curiosity. The world is a fascinating place. For many autistic kids, elopement is simply a way to explore that world that fascinates them. Something might catch their interest. That is the focus. This can be as simple as the water shimmering, birds, or an animal noise in the distance. Curiosity will drive autistic elopement, which often leads autistic people towards things, like we just said, running into the water, running into the bush, towards things that we find visually or physically stimulating. Now, that obviously includes going into potentially dangerous environments. But again, this is a goal. Our goal is, what was that noise? What is in there? What's over there? What's the water like? And that's why the wandering, the running, the sprinting, the bolting, the elopement happens. That's just one key cause, one key goal. Another one, sensory overload. You could class this, if you wanted, as sheer escapism. Why? Well, autistic people, as you know, can be sensitive to the sensory stuff, to sensory stimuli. Hypersensitive, oversensitive, hyposensitive, and undersensitive. Okay, so we're not going to go through them. You know them. You know all the senses. They can create overload, create distress, dysregulation. When these do become overwhelming, elopement could be a key way, a key tool for our autistic brain to escape. This environment is stressing me out. It's dysregulating me. This environment is overloading me. It's triggering me. Okay, I'll just escape. I'll just find a safer, more comfortable environment. Now, you might call this response that kind of fight or flight response, potentially, but that's a goal, right? The goal is to survive. So is it about self-preservation or is it about defiance and being a bad autistic child? It's actually an autistic person's way of saying, hello, I need to get out of here. This environment is bad for me right now. I don't feel safe. I don't feel regulated. I need to get out of here. I'm going to. Another key cause of autistic elopement, another key goal is seeking special interests or places. So places of interest. Many autistic people have strong, focused interests, special interests, passions, whatever works for you. We aren't about hobbies and 700 peripheral likes and dislikes. We are very specific. These passions can drive us. These passions can cause us to want to leave where we are. Okay, so we're at a particular location. Oh yeah, great. I'm out. I'm looking for my favorite location. Or we're at a location where my favorite place is. Great. Thanks for bringing me here. Catch ya. I'm off to my favorite place in this location. Wait for mum, wait for dad. Hey, where are you going? Well, your partner you get to a place, you get out of the car, your partner's just gone. Where are you going? To the place I want to go to. Well, you're going to wait for me? I don't know. Do you want to come here too? Yeah, these can be objects as well, like playgrounds, pets. They might get to a certain area or a house and they automatically go straight for where they know the animals are. They might not even say hello to people. This is about understanding what captivates the autistic person in your life. What gets their attention? What lights them up? Then you'll be able to anticipate when you get to certain situations, certain areas, certain places. Okay, so these are the things that light them up. This is probably going to be where they're going to want to go first. If I can enable them to do that, there'll be less chance of them eloping to do it. Communication challenges, another key cause of autistic elopement, because as you know, autistic people have communication and interaction challenges. This isn't just a kid thing. This might mean some autistic kids, some autistic people may actually have limited speech, limited language skills. We may have really great speech, really great language skills, but still challenges using them to communicate. This brings up frustration because we can't say or do or communicate what we're trying to do. And what is that usually? Our needs, the things we need to feel safe and regulated. That's going to lead to elopement. If for some reason the autistic person can't convey what they need or want. So a basic example for a child, I want to go to the park. They might simply do it themselves. I don't know how to convey this to you, so I'm just going to go to the park. I couldn't work out how to say I want to go to the park, get on the swing for a bit or go down the slide. So I'm just going to go to the park, right? And this can be the same for adults. I'm really dysregulated and I need alone time. I might go for a walk. Like just go for a walk. You're like, where are they? Are they alive? Are they okay? What happened? What do they say? What do they do? All based around communication challenges. How do you fix that? You can't fix autistic people, but you can fix your idea of how autistic people not only face challenges with communication and interaction, but in effect, do it differently. Help you understand how you can support them. Different ways of communicating, different ways of providing you with insights and needs and wants. That would significantly reduce the likelihood of this type of elopement being, I don't know how to tell you what I want to do, so I'm just going to do it. It's the big one people forget. I mean, like if you're autistic, you have these types of challenges. Why wouldn't this trigger just doing it, which is elopement? Again, goal-driven. Let's talk about routine disruptions. We are autistic people. We thrive on routines, plans, structures. A sudden change, which is basically any change to our plans, structures, routines, is going to cause distress. Okay? It's going to increase the risk of elopement. This is a great opportunity to utilize this around holiday periods. Why? You tell me how the routines, the lists of things that autistic people in your life do on a daily basis to stay regulated, how they are being protected during holiday periods. Now, I know you don't have much of an answer because you're a human, and it's like at holiday periods, we can turn off the autism and just go with the flow. Oh, really? Like for kids, it could be a new school, a new class, a new teacher. For adults, it can be having to, drop what they usually do to accommodate family gatherings and parties and going vacations and going away and these kind of things. It's distressing. It increases the likelihood that we will elope because we're seeking familiarity. We're seeking comfort in maintaining the structures, right? The plans, the routines. Now, you can prepare the autistic person in your life for these upcoming changes, and that will reduce anxiety, but it won't turn it off. This comes down to, whether it's meeting in the middle or wherever it is, to understanding, okay, I get it. This period of time is very bad for your structure and your routine. It's very bad. I get it. So how can we mitigate that so you can still feel like you can be involved in these things, but still have the opportunity to maintain your daily structure and routines? That's the best possible outcome, rather than just saying, we'll just help you get better at change. That's not how autistic people work. But this cause of autistic elopement might surprise you, but it's real. It's legitimate. A cause of elopement is fun, playfulness, it's fun. Sorry, Orion, you're saying elopement is fun? No, I'm not saying elopement is fun. I'm saying you can have fun. You can be playful by doing things like running, going somewhere, walking somewhere. The exhilaration of feeling free as an autistic person. So if you're running around somewhere, that might provide you with fun. That might provide you with joy. The exhilaration of being able to feel free to move and go and do things that make you happy. That is an absolutely strong motivator for autistic kids, autistic people in general. And that's why there's dangers involved in elopement. What seems fun, exhilarating, freeing for autistic people can actually be dangerous because we're not really worried about the dangers around us. We're just interested and excited about the joy what we're doing is bringing us. So that's why it's so important to stay calm during these types of elopements. And added on to that cause, let's talk about impulsivity. I think autistic people can definitely struggle with impulse control. Okay, we can exhibit impulsive behaviors. Now, this can lead us to act, will lead us to act without fully considering the consequences. This is the type of impulsivity that I can relate to, that autistic people can relate to. What's going to happen? Okay, it's going to result in clearly some split decisions that might not have been thought through. Obviously, they could include leaving your safe area. Now, when you combine that with our challenges in being aware of potential dangers, again, it's a recipe for autistic elopement because sometimes it is just an impulsive feeling. I just want to go there. I just want to be there. I just want to do that. There's no consideration for the dangers involved in getting there, or once you are there, there's just that impulsive rush. So I've mentioned this danger awareness a few times. Let's narrow in on that as another cause. Okay, so lack of danger awareness is a key cause of autistic elopement, because many autistic people can really struggle to fully comprehend, to understand potential dangers in the world around us in general. Okay, in the house, in the yard, outside, wherever. So leaving our safe area is one thing. Leaving our safe area and taking into consideration the potential risks and dangers involved in that is not something we often will step through, which means there's not so many things holding us back because we're thinking about going somewhere, but not really associating the potential dangers, and therefore, well, let's do it, right? Someone might have to chime in and go, well, hang on a second. You're going to need to wear a hat or put sunscreen on, or, if you're going to go there now, you're going to need someone to go there with you, or, this is dangerous, there's that, there's this, there could be snakes out, this, blah, 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 right? This is incredibly important to remember as a key cause because, hey, this sounds good. Not thinking about any dangers. Let's do it. A couple more, then I've got strategies to help you navigate autistic elopement. Now, autistic people can often be pigeonholed, frankly, by the outside world as kind of robotically boring, right? Stuck in a certain way. When in fact, autistic people are explorers. I get it. We can have very, restricted and kind of repetitive ways of living. Okay, but we love to explore. A desire to explore is another key cause of autistic elopement. A strong urge to explore new environments, seek out specific sensory experiences, absolutely drives some autistic people to wander away from their safe areas, to elope. This desire for exploration is often linked to these types of sensory seeking behaviors. And the final cause I want to talk about is demand. Demand. My old friend, demand. Another cause is escaping from demands, from demanding situations. So elopement can actually serve as a mechanism for autistic people to avoid stressful or challenging scenarios. This time of year, holiday season, social interactions. Maybe during school time, it's academic tasks or work-based tasks. By leaving that environment, we're escaping that situation. So if you're placing all these demands and stresses upon an autistic person, what are they going to want to do? Escape from those demands and stresses. That actually sounds pretty natural to me, but it's another key reason, another key goal associated with why autistic people elope. Have I got you some strategies, my friend? Yeah, I do. I've written them down. Here are some strategies to help you navigate autistic elopement. A safety plan is important. Do you ever watch the news? And you do? People still do that. Do you ever watch the news and see the stories of, well, a child's gone missing, and then you wait, you go, hold, just hold. They're going to say this kid's autistic. Just hold. Believed to be an autistic child who went wandering. Okay, cool. What we'll do, let's get really noisy things and strangers, and let's run around in the areas where we think they could be and just yell out and make lots of noise. That should really help us. Anyway, create a safety plan. Having a safety plan is essential. Why? Well, you're actually providing yourself with the tools you need to navigate this exact point, autistic elopement. And the fact that probably people are going to be involved and aren't just you, friends, family, school, emergency services, these types of things. Identifying potential triggers for elopement. In other words, you actually watched my video and absorbed it. Watch it again. Outline different emergency response steps. So who would you call first? Where would you search first? Make sure you have updated information on your child. So it's not like a photo from 7 years ago. You know all the details of them. You're ready to go. People can look at it, understand, okay, they're that age, they're about this height, these kind of things. And make sure your safety plan covers all the environments that you know your autistic child or partner or friend visits regularly. Okay, their home, their school, their work, their favorite places to go, the park, whatever it is. All right, here's another strategy for you. Reinforce safe zones. Help the autistic person in your life understand what a safe zone is. Now, this could be, for a kid, it could be like a specific room in the house, your yard, an area where they know they're going to be safe, they're going to be looked after. And then you want to talk about, we stay in these safe zones for a reason. And when we leave these safe zones, you know that that's something we do together. Consistency is key in this type of stuff, though. It's about clear, simple language. Understand why it's important for them to stay in these types of environments, and when going other places, to understand that it's important to take people with them. And why? Another strategy. Communication challenges are a big thing. Address them. I'm not saying fix your kid or fix your partner. I'm saying understand how they struggle and provide them with systems, with assistance to better communicate their thoughts, feelings, wants. To feel like they're actually being heard. This doesn't have to be just tools for the autistic person. If you are not autistic, you're a parent, carer, partner, friend, family. You have to understand the autistic person in your life. How do they communicate? What are their challenges in communication? How can you help them, enable them to reach you, to be heard? And what can you do? Addressing these underlying issues, these underlying challenges, is absolutely going to help you cut out one of the core reasons why autistic people elope. Well, I tried to tell you what I wanted to do. No one's listening or no one understands what I'm saying, so I'm just going to go and do it. But this one could be controversial, but let's be real, my friends. Let's be real. I'm a parent of an autistic kid. Okay, so if you're a parent or a carer of an autistic kid, your primary job is to keep them safe. It's that simple. So securing the environment sounds like, whoa, hang on a second, Orion, what do you mean? You're putting me in jail? No. But if you think that your autistic kid will thrive and stay alive, that's I should put that on a t-shirt. Thrive and stay alive. because staying alive is thriving for autistic people. Put that on a t-shirt. If you think autistic kids thrive and stay alive in a house or an environment that's just set up normally, you're crazy, mate. Yes, we lock the doors to our house and maintain a key. And when the boys want to go outside and play, they'll ask us, can we go outside and play? Now, if they don't, right, if our autistic son doesn't, because that doesn't occur to him, he's still got to ask us for the key, which is a reason to trigger him to tell us why. And then we know what we need to do to help him. I know you might, whoa, that's a bit, no, I'm the warden, am I? Okay, great. I want to be the warden. I mean, some people use tracking devices, like the GPS watches and bracelets and stuff. That might be useful for some. What I'm trying to say is, do you mind if we get past the fact or the point of judging people for keeping people safe? It might not be appropriate for the person in your life, but it may be appropriate for others. And I think this idea of securing the environment they're in to provide them protection is actually really important, to not just, oh, wow, what are you, an animal? It's just people fly off the handle. Let's be more respectful of the risks involved parenting autistic kids, not for us, for them, and how we can mitigate that. Another great example of that, and here's another strategy for you. Teach the autistic person in your life safety skills, basic safety skills. Trust me, it makes a difference. Now, if possible, you might get your autistic kid to do swimming lessons. We do. Our boys are in swimming lessons. It doesn't matter if it's something that isn't consistent, as in we're not forcing them and pushing them in the pool every week, but we encourage them to go every week. And the more they do it, the more they want to go. And it has genuinely helped. And with the drowning rates, the idea of not teaching your children water safety to one degree or another, whether it's by yourself, with your family, or in a private class, I'm not too sure what you think you should be doing. This is the core and key way that autistic elopement manifests in injury or death, drowning. So you need to find a way to teach your child water safety. There's an Australian company who's worldwide now called Autism Swim. They don't pay me money. I haven't told them I'm doing this. I'm just doing it because I think they're cool. They're great. That Autism Swim. And they, in effect, teach people how to teach autistic kids, neurodivergent kids, water safety. So you should check them out. But regardless, traffic safety, right? Traffic lights. Your turn to cross. Look both ways. Well, I've taught them that. Okay, great. Schools and neurodivergent kids. Let's have a chat. Saying you've taught someone something doesn't mean they've learned it. What? Boo. If you're a teacher or you're teaching a kid something, you haven't taught them anything until they've actually learned it, until they've absorbed it and get it. So don't tell me, I taught you that already. Well, you haven't, or I wouldn't be asking you how to do it. Another fantastic strategy is to build up your support network. I know there are people out there who do not have an autistic sibling or an autistic partner, but are friends or connected some way to either the autistic person, or a lot of people tell me this, they're connected to the non-autistic person of the family. And they'll call upon this person. This is the most complicated example I've ever done. I don't even know what's happening now. Okay, so you got a person who has a friend, but the person also has an autistic sibling or, a partner. The autistic, sibling elopes. So this person calls their friend to come and help them find the autistic. Does that make sense? Shut up. You do it. The point is, you don't have to do this alone. Okay? It can be online. It can be local. Finding people, friends, family, even groups of other autistic parents who can not only share experiences and war stories and advice and support and validation, but can be there to help you in these times of elopement. Another great strategy is using visual and social stories. I think you know the power of social stories for autistic people. These are fantastic tools. They can help autistic people understand scenarios in life. Okay, so social stories around safety and boundaries. It explains to them that when you go near water, social stories, right, there's a chance that you could drown or not be able to swim back to shore. Or when you run towards traffic, there's a chance that a car could hit you. There is traffic that's busy, and here's the social story. So to help you with busy traffic, you have to push a button and wait, and there'll be a sign that'll tell you you can walk now or stop walking. In addition to that social story, it'll say, when the sign goes from you can walk to stop walking, you don't just stop in the middle of traffic. If you've got the go ahead and you're halfway through, it's not a literal thing. Finish your walk, get off the road. That's another social story. These are so important because you can use them and tailor them to specific situations that your autistic person tends to be in with regards to elopement. For some parents, carers, partners of autistic people, actually having relationships with emergency services, first responders, is actually something that is critical. Now, not everyone needs to do this, okay? But trust me, building up relationships with your local emergency services, your first responders, is important for some people who care for autistic kids or autistic people who elope regularly. It's better for them to know the story, to know the family, to know the child or the person, because then there's a personal connection, but also it's much easier to think, where would they go now? Where do they like to go? And also, I know her. I'll have a look now at some of the favorite spots she likes to go to. I know what she looks like. I know where she goes. It just helps people respond quickly. For time-sensitive emergencies like elopement, this is a non-negotiable for quite a lot of the autism community who have autistic kids or autistic people who are at a high care needs. And autistic elopement is simply a minute-by-minute proposition. How about this strategy, though? Okay, so what is elopement? It's running, wandering, bolting, going towards something that you want to achieve, experience. We've gone through that. Okay, so that must take energy, right? Right. Okay. What if we provide structured activities? Wow. Provide playtime, fun time, structured physical activities for the autistic person in your life. You're providing outlets for physical activity. And in safe environments, because you're providing them, you're there, that provides them with an opportunity, an outlet, to have fun, to run, to move, to sprint, to do these things that they're eloping to do. It fulfills their desire. Hey, it helps them explore, whether they like the outdoors or they just like to do jumping up and down, running around, whatever it is, getting in a pool, whatever it is. Provide activities around that. Because you're meeting their needs, their physical needs, their sensory needs. And it's safe. And then it's reducing that impulse, that need to elope in the first place. You know, autistic elopement can be triggered by an almost endless array of things. But at the core of them all is an inability to regulate ourselves in a world designed to dysregulate us. So, to learn more about mastering regulation in a neurotypical world, check out my playlist, Autism and Dysregulation.